What's up, guys? Poopfarter Rockstar here, doing another Star Realms replay, and this one we've got probably the most epic turn I've ever seen in my entire life. Let's check out the game. Let's see what we can learn from this epic smashing that I take here. Spoilers. Alrighty, here we go. So immediately, events are in. Warp jumps happening, wormholes happening. It's that kind of game. Oh, Comet is powerful backing is also happening. That flips. And notice how they're flipping in order too, right? So one here, one there, one there, one there. And it's going to make for a crazy turn. Okay, and then scrap is available. And an extra trade is available as well. And looks like he's going to get to draw a card. Alright, so this is pretty good. 2 back to the top. Scraps 2 cards. Draws another card. Gets 3 down. And immediately goes for the battle station. I thought that was a little odd. There is a couple of big cards out here. There is some bases that give you trade and healing. He's got 3 trade. No reason you can't go for the trading post if you only want to keep the 3 trade. Or if you want to try for a 4th trade, you can use this gambit here, deal 5 damage to me, and pick up a barter world too. I think that's probably the better play, to be honest with you. The likelihood of me drawing something is going to be pretty high, because, again, remember there's a shit ton of events coming. I might be able to get Battle Blob turn 1, so you're going to have to be able to protect yourself here. And I think getting Battle Station is good in terms of protection, but I feel like it's a little less, I feel like it only does one thing, right? All it does is protect. And yeah, it could scrap to deal 5, but as of right now, I think all it's doing is protecting. Whereas I think Barter World would have been a much better play in the early game to give you trade and potentially healing, but it can also scrap for 5 later, and you know what I mean? Like it's a lot more versatile. Trading Post and Barter World, I think, are a lot more versatile than Battle Station is. But this is the decision he went with. Totally fine. Alrighty, so I'm going to get to draw 3. I'm going to toss 2 back. Then I get to scrap 2 cards, which I'm going to take because he's got the frickin' self-scrapping gambit here too, and he's already scrapped 2 cards. So I'm going to be significantly behind on scrap, so I have to take this scrap edge while I got it. But good news is I pick up 5 trade. I think I went a little hasty here. I actually think the play is to grab the Battle Blob. He's already got a base. He's going to be ahead on scrap. I actually should be taking damage here instead of trying to get trade. Again, there's not necessarily that many big things out there aside from the Battle Blob that I'm going to want to go after in terms of getting trade. So I actually think this is a pretty big mistake on my part. You know, I'm going to get the shuffle too. I've already scrapped 2 cards I don't need. The likelihood of me picking up at least 4 or 5 trade on the next turn, at least 4 trade on the next turn, is pretty high. So I'll be able to get another really good card. I don't actually see why getting Pack Pod and getting trade here is actually the right move. I honestly don't think it is. And I forgot that I have Veteran Pilots, and I already scrapped a Viper. I'm actually a little bit behind on... I think I will be behind on damage at a certain point, too. I don't like this play. I already think this is a mistake on my part. But then Tactical Maneuver comes up, which then gives me 2 trade. And again, I'm just grabbing cards I'm not even counting. Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not getting the Battle Blob? Well, I think the lack of scrap was the thing that got me. And maybe I just didn't want to leave it for him. So, I get that. But it's like, I feel like I'm making error after error here. Oh, yeah, now I'm getting the scrap again. I mean, I guess this is fine. And I still pick up... Okay, I mean... Oh, alright. And I draw a card? I mean, clearly there's a lot going on here. And quite honestly, I'm kind of poor at playing with events. So, I don't like a lot of my decisions here. You know, I'm already feeling like I'm making a lot of mistakes. He scraps twice. He gets 4. Okay, grab the battle blob because you're a smart player. Scrap there, scrap there. Looks good. Did you get it? Good. Good. Okay. Fine. Problem solved. Battle Blob is an excellent card. It's 8 damage. Potentially it's into the card draw. It's potentially 12 damage. It's fucking fantastic. It's one of the best pure aggressive cards in the game. Yes, there's some thoughts about maybe getting the Hive, setting up multiple bases, but I'm not going to let him keep Battle Blob. Even if that means giving up potentially getting Patrol Mech. So I've scrapped 2 cards, and I've got 2 scrappers, and I've scrapped 2 more cards. I'm fine in terms of scrapping. I should be fine. Okay, my opponent picks up Patrol Mech, so now he's going to start scrapping a little more. We blow up the base, we get the Battle Pod, right? So we're going aggressive here, right? We've got a good amount of healing, but for the most part, we're going to try to get damage. We're going to try to attack. I think this is the plan. Looks pretty good, okay? I like where we're at. What did my opponent end up getting last time? Oh, yeah, he picked up Patrol Mech. Okay, yeah, so this is fine. This is fine, right? We kill his base. We don't get the 5 that we would have liked, but we did a significant amount of damage. We pick up Battle Pod. It's all good. It's all good. And now, my opponent gets Machine Base. This is actually quite bad, because Machine Base also draws. So now he's actually going to get to cycle a lot more. So he's actually massively accelerated his scrap edge. And quite honestly, I don't really account for it. Yep. See? He's got a couple of bases now. He's got protection. He's got bases that combo with his freighter, which means he'll get to top deck really big cards. And if he gets a couple of really big cards, yeah, I'll be honest, not really paying the most attention I could in this game. Trade escort's great. I like it better. It's going with my blue deck. Um, but the thing is, it's a little bit healing strategy. It's a little bit of a healing strategy. I think the correct play is actually to pick up the Hive and go more aggressive. I'm at 68 life. My life total is fine. I don't need to try to pad my life total lead. I need to try to kill my opponent. I think this is another mistake. Even though I do like Trade Escort as a card in general, but I've got a Battle Blob. I've got a I've got a freaking Pact Pod. Like, I've got to take advantage of this. I'm not. I'm just kind of healing up and dicking around. My opponent picks up the Hive. That's really bad for us. But we're going to scrap. So we scrap twice again. This is good. The deck's getting efficient. We're way ahead on life, but he's still at 45. And we pick up the Stealth Needle, which is an excellent card. So I'm not feeling too bad here. But, oh no. And then he picks up Blob World. This is terrible for us. He's already got a couple of blobs. He's already got a couple of really solid freaking outposts in front of him. 1, 2, 3, just that we can see on the screen right now. The likelihood of him being able to hide Blob World behind these outposts is really high. Now all of a sudden, my damage is not going to get through to his face. He's going to live longer. He's going to scrap up. I actually should be feeling quite scared right now. But I don't. And I scrap Battle Cruiser because for some reason I think I'm going to get the Mothership instead of scrapping the Mothership, which would have been a much more devastating card for him because guess what? Hint, hint, he has Blob World. I should be trying to get rid of all blobs. Nope, not thinking, not paying attention, not playing well. It's kind of crazy watching this game again because at the time I thought I was playing great and I thought I had this game on lockdown. But the more I watch it and the more I analyze it, the more I realize, like, I am making mistake after mistake after mistake. Even though I just dropped 20 on his ass. Even though I grabbed the flagship. Right? And, you know, I grab another scrapper. I'm getting ready. I keep thinning down my deck. Like, these all seem like good plays, right? But I just wasn't going aggressive enough. You know, I was trying to be scrapped down. Oh, see? See? You see that? Right? Trading post into freighter, gives him 7, gets a mothership, top decks it, then draws it. Oh, man. This is horrible for us. Right? Look at him. He's drawn his whole deck now. Look at how efficient he is now. I should be really scared. All right, look at this. Top deck's another fucking great card. Boom, boom, boom. Draws something to draw. Gets a blob fighter. Gives him more card draw. Right? Gets blob or gets another protection. Gets some more healing. Draws 2 cards. Draws his whole deck again. Right? And then here's an event. Why am I not scared? I should be very scared. And then here's where I make the mistake that costs me the game. Okay, everything seems fine, right? You draw a card, boom, we scrap. Okay, boom, we draw another card. Okay, everything seems fine, right? Okay, right there. Right there. It's a little hard to see. I used the Needle Lancer to heal. I meant to click here to draw a card. I just went too fast and I misclicked. And instead of drawing a card, I healed and I left all this pretty extra damage down here. He's got 30. I need 41, 44 to get through there. I get Battle Blob here. This game's over. All right, and then here another event. Explorer in my hand. This is fine. I'm happy about that. And then another error. I decide not to kill his bases. My thinking was, if I get him down to 9, there's no way he can do 55 to me. I counted his deck. He does not have 55 damage in his deck. He'll set up, he'll heal up, but then I will get enough damage to punch through on the next turn. That's my thinking. Total mistake. I have control of this game. I have a scrap down deck. I have a shitload of damage. Yes, I'm at 55, but giving your opponent an opportunity to come back when you don't need to is so fucking risky. And now let's get ready to watch the most epic turn ever. And notice, I have lethal. Okay, so he drew a card with the Hive. He drew a card with the Blob Fighter. Boom, he draws 2 cards. He top decks the Survey Ship. He gets to draw 2 cards from Quasar. He does. Boom, he scraps that, plays some more blobs. Grabs the frickin' missile silo. Oh, grabs an embassy yacht. Now notice, the embassy yacht was not in his hand, nor was the survey ship in his hand. Then, draws another card, scraps his lone scout, plays his battle station, remember that from the beginning, draws another card with the falcon, boom, gets another 5 damage, puts the pack pod in his hand, then draws 2 cards with the embassy yacht that he top decked, or didn't top deck, but he put in his deck and then managed to draw into it. Then missile silo, then battle pod. So I'm still okay here, right? It's still 32. He is 55, but even with his bases out, I still have lethal. Then he draws the pack pod. Then Supernova comes in. Now watch this. He takes 5 damage, I take 5 damage. Now I'm down to 50. I'm dangerously close now. Supply run happens. So now he can put an Explorer on top of his deck or a card of his discard pile on top of his deck. He discards, then Black Hole hits. I don't have cards to discard yet. He takes 8 Authority, puts a Blob Fighter and the Imperial Fighter in his hand, and now draws the rest of his deck lethal. Not just lethal, and overkill lethal. So I hear what some of you are saying. Ryan, you just got unlucky, no big deal. No, I played fucking terrible. Even though I was up like 75 to 45 at one point. So many mistakes. So many misplays. So many poor, cocky thinking. I was so focused on beating this dude 80 to nothing that I forgot to beat him by 1. He literally had 1 life left. Literally had 1 life. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. It was 55 to 9 at one point. And I lost. He did 69 damage in 1 turn. Yes, the events helped him. Yes, if events weren't there, he doesn't get that fucking crazy turn. Sure, but I let him get there. I gave him the opportunity. I wasn't aggressive enough. I didn't step on his throat. I didn't push for the win. This is the thing. As long as your opponent is alive, he can come back and kill you. You can't let him do that. Plain and simple. You have to respect your opponents. And you have to respect their ability to fight back. And if you don't, they will fight back and beat you. The way you show respect to your opponent is by killing them as fast as fucking possible. Doing every single point of damage you possibly can to them while you have the opportunity. This means scrapping explorers, scrapping, what's the blob one? I'm drawing a blank on it. Blob miner. Scrapping your blob miners, right? This means, sometimes it means scrapping your dreadnoughts. Sometimes it means scrapping your, battle blobs. Sometimes it means, not killing a base because you need to make sure that you have that couple of points of damage through, right? Sometimes it means destroying every single base because you don't want to give your opponent an opportunity to come back, and you need that 1 more turn. But you got to remember, your opponent can always come back, and the less turns you give them to come back, usually the better. So, yeah. Lesson today, guys. You ain't won until you won. You haven't scored until you score. All right, guys. Thanks again. See you later.